All right, so I am here with Rico, and I met Rico in October when we did our holistic health symposium, and he came out. We talked a little bit, and I don't know, about a month and a half later or so, he hit me up and says, "Hey, I want to come out."
Yeah.
And you came out and spent a few hours helping us out. Why don't you tell us? You're a teacher, and you work with kids, and we kind of connected through Lynette, who's one of our team members and a friend of yours, and we have a lot in common in the sense of teaching in sort of an orthodox,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, creative, and effective way. So, why don't you just share a little bit about some of the things we're doing, and then how you see this working together?
Sure. So today we kind of just planted some seedlings.
Okay, wait, before we get to that, this is an important thing. So, we had this great donation
Okay.
from Lynette, and she gave us all these amazing seeds. These are all um, heirloom seeds. So the planting that we did today is really specific. We planted these heirloom seeds in a way that we really are taking a lot of care to mark them and make sure that we got the right seeds in the right spot. So
Definitely.
that was important, but
Definitely hard to learn the process today. Let's see how you
absolutely,
guys did your thing. So
yeah.
yeah,
And we planted a bunch of plants. We talked
we
about
did.
the hugel
The
culture,
hula
and
culture was interesting.
yeah,
Okay. And now I know how that works with the spongy, woody, watery
yeah,
middle.
exactly.
Okay.
And then we planted some plants over on the other side of the creek, and we're able to work in an area that's naturally kept damp. So we're able to work with our own system instead of fighting everything all the time.
Right.
And so, how do you see all this stuff we're doing, as it applies to the work you're doing with your students?
Well, to be honest, kids don't go out enough.
No.
They literally they need to touch grass and put
Yes.
their feet in dirt and get their hands dirty and smell the smells, feel the feels, and all these things. So
Yes.
the sensory garden that we keep talking about is
Yes.
very, I think, key because
Yeah.
they've lost all connection with creativity that's outside of whatever their handheld devices give them.
Exactly. If it doesn't have a little light or a
Yes.
flashing buzzer,
Yes.
they don't connect.
It's very hard for kids to just be creative and just immerse themselves in the world. They're immersed in this world right here,
Right.
and a lot of them have lost their creativity. So when it comes to teaching, even just losing creativity, it stops them from seeing multiple ways to find an answer.
Right.
So all they're looking for is this one and this one.
Yeah, the
They don't see,
fast way
oh, this one go
forward.
this way, this one can go curve, this one.
Right.
So this is where the garden might come in, and where I see is that you're learning how to learn in different ways.
Yeah.
And you're learning how to learn with your own senses, with your own ideas, with your own self, without
Yeah.
having anyone else tell you what something is.
Exactly.
So
There's a place for discovery to
Right.
happen. And
those little discoveries are important because it leads to the next discovery, which leads to the next discovery.
exactly.
So without any of this being here, the kids just most of the kids would just go through through the school system without ever actually turning on their brain.
Right.
They're going to be told what to do, what to write, how to say something, but they're never going to be taught how to think.
Exactly.
So in a garden, there is just life.
Yes.
And you explore and you do these things, and just living allows your mind to think of different ways. Even if you guys don't see it, even if parents and teachers don't see it, I see how kids creativity, just the fact that they're creative,
Yes.
can help them in math, can
Yes.
help them in reading, can help them in science, can help them in history.
Yes.
Because they start to crave more knowledge.
Yes.
The more they can connect, the more they want to connect. And if they're not connecting with the greenery, then they're connecting to the phone, and the phone just disconnects them
Phone
completely.
doesn't care about you.
The
Yeah.
phone does not care about you. It is not. The phone doesn't need you to live.
Nope.
The garden,
It needs.
it needs interactions
it needs
with you to live.
attention. Yeah.
It needs attention.
And
So-
most importantly, is it responds.
Right.
And this is one of the places that I say this a lot when people are listening to me, but the point is, most of the time when we have these instant gratification, they're either zero or negative
Yeah.
as they impact you. and video games and social media, like. Those are those instant gratifications that give you nothing back.
Yeah.
But here, you get instant gratification because you plant a seed and it's accomplished. You've done something. Now there's anticipation on what's going to happen next. When's it going to grow? I'm going to come back
here. Is it
here.
going to grow?
Is it going to grow?
There's a wonder. There's a mystery to it.
Yes.
You're waiting on life to respond to to whatever you just did.
Exactly.
And so that's
you turn that on, and it starts with, an action, and then it gets into discovery, and then anticipation, maybe even a little anxiety, which is positive.
Yes.
And going, and I watch when kids will keep coming back here over and over, week after week. They look forward to seeing how the thing they did last week is doing now. And they come back and they go almost run to the place where they were at.
There's progression.
Yes.
There's accomplishments. There's disappointments too.
Of course.
Which is great because
yes.
These kids today, they don't know what failing is.
No.
They've been babied and they've been pushed, and school is very, very soft on these kids.
Yeah.
They're passing them even if they're failing.
Right.
They're moving them along even if they're the last one in class.
Yeah.
Because they're not allowed to fail them anymore.
Exactly.
Which is horrible because all these kids.
Then they get into real life.
Yes. The second they
real
feel
life doesn't care.
any kind of failure,
they
shut down. They cry.
I know.
They get triggered.
Yeah.
They don't go, okay, I learned.
Right, exactly. Oh, that didn't work. Brush yourself off
exactly.
and get onto it. Yeah.
That is the most, I think the garden when I used to volunteer at a garden when I was in high school, and I think most of what I did was weed and like clear lots.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of nice try.
Yeah.
Try again next time.
Yeah.
And
no, absolutely.
It's subconsciously teaching you. It's not something as like this is this and this.
No,
it's subconsciously teaching you what life is. And I think it's a lot of kids are missing these days.
Well, and a lot of this is just
a lot of people, forget kids,
just doing a thing. So like when I was showing you, and you're capable, and you want to learn, so it's easy for me. I just talk and tell you what's happening. And so we went out there and we're just working, right? We're just doing a thing. Meanwhile, I'm sort of explaining to you what it is, why it is, and not making a big deal about it, but probably a lot of it stuck.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're just enjoying yourself, having a conversation, just like you might have done with your dad or your grandpa years and years ago. And now that doesn't happen so much. So this is that's sort of the kernel inside of this all, that's a thing that I know works. And so my goal with this whole project, as it applies to children and students of all ages, is to connect with them in an unconventional way, where you don't even feel like you're connecting. You don't feel like you're learning. You're just exploring.
Yeah.
It's like going on a hike in a place you've never been. You want to see what's around the corner. You want to see what's next.
It's not a test. It's an adventure.
Yes.
And you're just learning along the adventure.
Exactly.
You're not going to get graded.
No.
You just want to know.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of learning, what's it called, environment, is ideal and perfect. One where they expect you and want you to learn, but there's no requirement.
Yeah,
there's
you're not gonna
stress. It's just, do you remember how to plant this? Because next time we're gonna plant this too.
Exactly.
And so
if you remember, it's gonna help you next time. If not, you'll have to do it again.
You got to relearn it next time. So
exactly.
It's basically
just like life.
Try, fail. It's a very good place to learn how to try and fail.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm really excited that you're taking a shine to this. You are part of my plan with connecting to educators and different modalities of teaching, and working with everything from, preschoolers to, the elderly. There's a place for us all to learn and gain and discover. And I'm really excited because you're helping me to connect to a group of people that I don't have a way to connect to yet. So this is exciting. I'm looking forward to this continuing. Awesome. Thank you, Rico.
Yeah, no problem.